AP, Alex, and Simon. You're next on episode 15 of the Reddit Golf Swing Analysis Series. Good evening, Line Golf Academy members and guests. Thanks again for joining us. This is episode 15 of the Reddit Golf Swing Analysis Series. We take Redditors who send in their videos who wish to be diagnosed, and we just put their video up there and take a look and see what we can suggest on things to improve to make the swing more functional. Keep in mind, this is not an instruction series. This is basically just to show some cause and effects in their motion so they can go and seek professional advice. I highly suggest that everybody does work with a PGA professional where he and she can help diagnose your swing flaws as well and get you on a path to get you your goals sooner. So with that being said, I don't know these students. They just send me their videos. I'm watching them for the first time with you so we can go through this journey together. And let's get started. We have Alex on the screen. Alex is a lefty. There's no notes in Alex's video submission, just his thanks with his name on it. So we're kind of free to talk about what we want to. Not knowing his range of motion, any injuries, I'm just looking at this purely visual. So keep that in mind, Alex. Let's just take a look at the swing and see what we can see here. Okay, with the driver, we're trying to swing up on it, and you do a pretty good job of staying back and swinging up. I do see some axis tilting, so there's a little bit of issues here. So let me see if I can help explain this. First of all, it's hard to tell in this view, but we'll see down the line if you're open with your shoulders. Width looks pretty good, about shoulder width. You do look like you're leaning on that left side, and I think it's just because of an open alignment, but we'll see more. But let's just take a look at some lines here. So this is basically your brace line. So you kind of don't want to slide over that brace line. You want to just turn around it, and that'll help you maintain your spine angle. So we're going to draw a big spine angle right through your body so we can kind of get an idea. So that spine angle is looking pretty good in terms of your ball position. You can see your spine angle goes right through that club. The club shaft extends down to your ball position. So ball position looks great. You don't need to compensate for anything from that motion. But let's take a look at the sliding action that goes on that I saw when we took a couple of videos there. So right there, you can see how you're kind of tilting the wrong way. So your tilting of your hips is now the other way, which is causing your spine angle to shift. So now your spine angle, I'm going to draw your new spine angle. So you're rocking around your head. You know, that's the top. That's where the two converge. So you're rocking around your head. So let's take a look at how you come into the golf ball. And you're kind of staying around that head again. And now you got a new spine angle, which is good because you've increased the spine angle, but how you got there was a little bit timing involved. So ideally we want to set our spine angle and rotate around that spine angle so we don't have to get the lower body to shift like this. You just want to set the spine angle and then kind of turn around that spine angle. So you are turning around the spine angle, but you're also rocking your spine angle back and forth. So timing is of the essence when you do that. You have to time that motion, and if you do time it, you can probably hit the ball pretty solid and pretty hard, and everything's, you know, peachy clean. But when you don't time it, that's when I can see some misses on both sides. Not necessarily just missing on one side, but I'm pretty sure you might be missing both sides with this motion. Other than that, I mean, you do a really good job of trying to stay in your spine angle past impact. You can see in this position here, you're still turning, but the momentum is, you know, kind of pulling you back and away because you've had to tilt the other way to hit the golf ball. So hopefully that helps from this view, but we'll probably get a better understanding from the other view how it affects your playing. But overall, I mean, it's very athletic motion. You seem like a very strong individual. I would imagine you might have some alignment issues just looking at that shoulder. But, you know, bigger picture things for you is just from this top swing here, we can take a look at this. You know, your left leg should be on that line at all times as you take that club back, and that little motion there is what's kind of tipping you over. And you can see your lead knee from this position here is buckling in, kind of shooting your hips underneath you, and then you start tilting the other way, and now you have to, you know, compensate by tilting extremely the opposite on your way down. But let's take a look at your down the line because that might help us out too. Okay, Alex, so I brought up your down the line. Already I can see that alignment issue. So, you know, this shoulder is covering that shoulder. So you're looking like you're starting with an open position to your target. So if you take a look here, if we draw some lines for you, you know, there's your foot line. Your hips, it's hard to tell because of that shirt, but your hips look okay, but your shoulders are pointing kind of down that direction. So you're starting open, and it looked like it from the front, but it makes more sense now. So maybe just kind of square those up so you don't have to feel like you're making some compensations, and that could be causing your tilting under for some reason. Usually alignment, ball position, posture cause compensations in your swing. And we just don't know which one came first. We don't know if it's the alignment issue or the ball position issue. Not to say you have a ball position issue, but usually the fundamentals cause motions in your swing, or the motion in your swing call the fundamental changes. So it's a half and half battle, chicken or the egg. Taking it back though, let's take a look here. And this is where that shift happens. So you can see your hip kind of sliding out underneath you. You sit on it pretty good, trying to steal that ground force. Okay, so I honestly, I think you can actually get more out of this than you are doing. I think you're just so busy trying to right yourself the other way. So your motion's going, you're going from tilting this way to, as you hit the golf ball, you need to tilt back this way. So your motion is too much of this and not enough of staying behind and just turning and driving up. And if you look at this trail leg here, you're so busy trying to tilt back under that trail leg doesn't really push off as much as it should. Right now, this trail leg should almost be, the left heel's further down into the ground, which means you're pushing more of your motion up into your shoulders to help you drive more energy through that golf ball. Creating that kinetic energy as you pull through. You get there, but you almost fall back to get there. My biggest thing for this is I like your aggressive style, like your aggressive swing. It looks very powerful. It's just a little bit tippy from the top. So you're tipping this way with your tilt instead of just maintaining that spine angle and just turn around that spine angle. You'll get a lot more force behind that, and you can swing pretty hard at it, because I know it looks like you like to swing pretty hard. But address looks pretty good, ball position looks pretty good, alignment looks good in your feet, your lower body looks good, your shoulders are definitely covering it, so square those shoulders up. Just work on maintaining your posture. Try not to get that trail hip to bow out, and just kind of turn around it. So if you're not working with somebody, I suggest you do, just to help them give you some tips and advice on how to do that. I have some tips and advice, but I don't really know if they will apply to you, just because I haven't put you through a range of motion testing. And who knows, you could have some mobility issues that you're not aware of, that does require some golf motions in it. So I hope that helps. Looks pretty wintry and dry where you're from. I'm going to shoot it out there and just say Colorado. For some reason, it just brings me back to Colorado. So let me know if I'm correct. Hope that helps, and stay tuned for the next one. Okay, next we have AP. So AP sent me a couple of notes here. So he just suffered a broken leg. He didn't tell me which leg, but there is a metal still in his leg. So I'm not sure which leg it is, but it will take some effect on your golf swing. So thanks for letting me know, and we'll take a look. Your miss is a hook, sometimes snappy, and then also this is a 3-iron in the video. So thanks for letting me know that too. And he pulls his wedges, and he can't hit a wood or driver well at all. Push slices on the driver. So maybe a plane issue. Typically plane issues cause pulls in the shorter club, and also losing them right with the longer clubs for the righties. So we'll just take a look and see what we see. Okay, so the range of motion issues with the hips, but that could again be that your body's kind of protecting your legs. So I'm not sure which leg it is. I would guess just by looking at this, it might be the right leg. Let me know if you can let me know which leg it is, but I'm guessing it's the right leg, because it looks like the right leg is not really performing as much as it could, and it could just be your body kind of not letting it do it, just out of safety. But let's just take a look right off the bat. You do a pretty good job though of staying in your posture. You have a really strong motion, so there's a lot of good things that you do. There is some ball position issues. So if you take a look, that's where you're basically where your spine is tilting. So it might be too much tilt, I'm not sure, just by this video. But if we draw a true, let's get that thing there. So you see how based on that tilt, your ball position should be there. So maybe hands are pressing, maybe too much tilt, pushing the hands out in front, trying to catch up for that ball position. Now that ball position is behind where your impact position is, so that could be causing some issues for you. So maybe not as much tilt. Bring those hands closer to your spine to match everything up in that nice circle. We got to try and simplify things, and just think about it being connected when you start. get you a better chance of being connected when you strike the ball. Anything that's off one way or the other, you have to maintain that to be at impact. And now you're dealing with forward pressing, you're dealing with delayed release. And if you do release it, that's when you shut that club face down a lot. So a lot of this is setup based. Taking the club back, you do a really good job of bracing that right side. So Alex, in the first video, if you're still watching, this is what you're looking for. So you see how that right hip kind of just spins around in case it hits your left hip because you're a lefty. But that's the type of motion you're looking for. You do a really good job of staying in your first spine angle, which is great. Arms are connected to your chest, which is nice to see. The club is nowhere near parallel. Club face is slightly shut to your left forearm, so that's great. Let's draw this impact line to see how we drive into the golf ball. So definitely some good drive going on there. And yeah, you're struggling with that release point. So yeah, the club shuts down and you look like you're really covering with the right shoulder. So a couple things could be causing this. Number one, I'm going to just say you got to square this up. That's going to help you so you don't have to delay the release. Because if you release it with that club face position, you're going to roll over and that ball's going left hard on you. But then also, once you see, you don't get quite as much turn as you need. These hips aren't turned quite as much as they should, which will help you get more shoulder turn. So I think because there's a decrease of turn on the backswing, you now have more room to turn through the ball as you strike the ball. You do a fairly good job here. I'll be able to tell from down the line to see where that shoulders are at impact. But as you come through the golf ball, I mean, that's quite a lot of turn already past impact. So it looks like you're just maybe covering the golf ball. You can see that right shoulder's almost facing the target. So there's a lot of upper body turn. And I think it's maybe you're just moving your ratio. Instead of you turning more on the way back, you're turning more on the way through, which could also cover your golf ball, and you'd be leading with those snap hooks. So that could be a cause for it. Leaning back at impact is also a sign of just spinning instead of driving. So I see you drive, but then you almost drive and then just do nothing but spin, which can cause you to kind of fall back. But from the face-on view, it's basically all I can suggest for you here, and hopefully that does make sense for you. But I think the true tale is going to come from down the line. Let's take a look. Okay, Pete, let's take a look at your down the line here. So again, it's hard to see where you're aligning to. I like the distance of the camera. I just don't quite see where the shoulders are aligned. If we take a look at where your feet are pointing, down in this direction. Knees, I don't see both knees. It's hard because you got that black on black. Shoulders, I don't quite see both shoulders pointing down the line. So the club face should, in essence, be pointing in that same position, parallel lines that don't cross each other. So remember, it's the feet aim left of your target if you're righty, because the club face is what hits the ball to the target. It's not your feet. So most of us have alignment issues because we just aim our feet at the target, but it's actually club face. So keep that in mind. As you take that club back, let's draw a plane line here real quick. And let's get rid of these alignment. So just check your alignment. Make sure that right shoulder is pulled back a little bit more. Okay, so do a pretty good job of holding that plane line. Arm goes down the plane line. Arms pretty flat. And flat can cause some issues as well. You do a great job though. Look at that club. It just follows that line back down. So very simple motion. Head moves slightly forward. So we draw that little brace line for your head. Watch how your head kind of crashes into that brace line. And now it's kind of your center is shifting down. It could be because you take your hands really low, and to offset that, you have to feel like your head needs to go forward to offset the weight of you pulling yourself back. So it could just be a stability thing. But then as a result, now you really have to pull left, and this is where your turning is coming from. So you can see there's a lot of turn there. And when you have excess turn and you're on plane, that thing's going left and left. So I would imagine that a lot of this has to do with not being able to turn as much with the lower body. Maybe try and get the hands a little bit higher to get into the secondary plane. So if we draw a line here, your secondary plane is up by your shoulders. So you can see you're kind of stuck in here. So it will help you get the club up higher. It'll help you with the spin rates. It'll help you with the launch angles. It'll help you strike down the golf ball. It won't be so rotational that you're kind of stuck on your rotation. So that's my suggestion here. Definitely a lot of turn. You've got a really good swing though. I mean, it's very solid. very minimal things that can go on. And some of the great things that you do. If I had a child's class right now, they'd just eat me up for saying that. Okay, so look at that spine angle. As you come back into the impact, you're still on that back brace line, you're still holding down your spine angle, so a lot of good things are happening here. It looks like very simple things, so it could be the leg injuries preventing you from rotating more with that hip. So just take that easy. See somebody. I mean, obviously, anybody with a pretty big injury like that, even if it's a past injury, it's going to affect your range of motion. And there's drills you can do to help increase your range of motion, and look for somebody that's TPI certified that can really help you get in those drills correctly to help you make the correct positions. But your core of your swing is really solid. So I think just a little bit of attention to your swing fundamentally, so your alignments are all secure. Maybe getting a little bit more rotation to help you out. Get those hands a little bit higher so you're not so rotational. And then you don't cover the golf ball as much. And that coverage is what's causing that club face to just shut down on you, and maybe get your path going left as well. So anytime you have a path left with slightly closed club, that thing is going left and left. Big tall mountains in the background. It's nice and warm, it looks like. Maybe this is an old video. If it's a new video, I'm just going to shoot out, and let's go for Australia. It's either America or Australia. I'm just going to throw these out. All right, let's see who's next. All right, so this is Simon. I don't know if you've been watching this for a while, but Simon sent us a video. I think it was episode 6 or 7. I can't really remember. But he's gotten in practice what we've been helping him out with. And this is a follow-up. He reached out to me and I said, yeah, go ahead and send it. No problem. We'll just see if you're making some good changes here. So let's take a look at the swing on the left, which is the white one, which is what he started with. See, there's some issues with his forward lean. He's starting to shaft hump. You can see how much he moved away from that back brace line on the left side. So let's take a look at what he has now on the right side after we, address these couple things that he can feel the difference to. Let's see what he's done. Okay, so there's definitely a lot smoother going on there, Simon. So what we can do is take a look at some of the positive things that's happening at the top of your swing. Let's see if we can pause it right at the very top here. Okay, and let's go to the old one and pause it right at the very top. So we can see a couple things that are changing. There's less lean over on your left side, so you're staying in your spine angle a lot better. You're actually staying against your brace line, and also the arm position is much higher, so you're trying to get to that secondary plane line. So this secondary plane line is pretty close, where this one was kind of stuck. So definitely see a lot of changes here on the good thing. Moving into the golf ball, we can see as you come down into impact here, it's a little bit blurry here, but that could be the time of day. But let's move up a little bit here and see what's going on. So you're able to get to the plane, but then all of a sudden the club drops below. You can kind of see a shadow below that plane line there. Here, now it's like a game of shadows, right? It's like which shadow's better. But this one, at least the club is more behind you as you're turning. This one has a lot of alignment issues. You're still shaft humping a little bit, which means your body's moving into the target. Into the golf ball as you're pulling through. But is it as severe? It's not as severe, but there's definitely still some shaft humping issues here. You can still see you're moving into the target, but there's less turn. So here, there's more drive. Here, there's more turn. I can see both legs. On the right side, I can only see one leg and the other foot. By the way, I love those shoes. Those are super comfortable. And then the release point as you come back into the target here, you're facing the target. Release point hands are nice and high up in this region, where this release point could be lower. Let's take a look. Okay, let's go a couple more frames up. So it's a little bit lower. You can see there's that lower release point. So here it's kind of starting to come over your hair a little bit, and here it's really low. So we're seeing some good changes here. You definitely need to work on maintaining your posture more, but all in all, definitely an improvement. So let me look at the down the line or the face on to see if that helps. All right, here we have Simon. New one is on the left here, old one is on the right. Let's just take a look at the old one for reference, and let's try and get to the top of the swing here. So I forgot it's in slow motion, so let's just go ahead and pause it right there. So we saw a lot of collapse on the left side. You can see the tipping starting to happen a little bit too early. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, it looks better. You're definitely getting that lean going on. You can see a little bit of a lean happening here. Where here it's not as much lean. If we draw any sort of lean, that's a horrible lean, by the way. It's a crooked lean. But if we draw some sort of lean, You can see there's a lean, but it's more jagged. So your joints are really jagged down here, where they're slightly jagged, but at least it looks like you're still in that position. Arms are much higher than they were there. Here they were really stuck behind you. We saw on down the line, but face on, you can see that club shaft is above your head now. So really good changes. As we come into the target here, getting that drive and that turn established early. A little bit of a upper body lean here. A little bit of a jumping up motion, but less lean. You can definitely see you're more upright. You're not leaning over that side as you strike the golf ball. Let's get down to golf ball striking here. It's hard because we just don't see anything with that blurriness and the darkness of the light. But in terms of your body position, the body looks a lot better. It looks straighter. It looks a little bit more connected. You can see that blur is your hands. So at least your hands are kind of catching up with your chest, where here they're slightly behind because you were leaning a lot over and you had to flip it. But the follow through, you're still nice and straight. Here, let's take a look here. Okay, follow through is looking similar. You can see some things pointing out. Hand position is not so behind. Again, it's nice and high above the head. Body position, though, the body position looks pretty good. It looks more behind. So again, we're following that established turn at the top, so you don't look like you're leaning too far over. So if this is your new finish position, and this is your new finish position, so it's straighter. It's a lot less things going wrong. It's still a long way to go. I still recommend going to see somebody to really help you get that feeling down, but you're doing it. Put it this way, there's information that's passed down from golfer to golfer that is not passed down from golf instructor to golfer. And I think that's the big misconception, is a golf instructor can really help you pass down knowledge you need for your motions, for your swing, but a golfer will pass down knowledge that they probably inherited from another golfer that doesn't really apply to you. So just be careful with information you have. Even the information I'm giving you, who knows, it might not even apply to you because I'm not there with you physically. But all in all, I think you're doing a really good job. You're on the right track, but definitely go see somebody. You're definitely worth investing at least once a month, once every other month, just to go and make them, take a look at you, test your range of motion, make sure you're doing the right things. But I hope that helps, and it's great to see you making some good changes. Keep it up. Don't ever stop. You can get to your dreams. And if you like this, hit that like, subscribe. If you know somebody that wishes to submit the videos, the link is in the bottom. It's under an email. Just send me 2 videos down the line and face on, and we'll do more of these that we did with Simon. We'll probably start doing just before and after videos in a different series. We might call it, I don't know, before and after, who knows. But thanks again, Simon. Appreciate your support, and good luck with the journey, and keep me in touch. Thanks, guys. Fairways and greens.